Us now is the author of The Failure Factor, Washington Times columnist Bill Gertz. Welcome, Bill. How are you, buddy?
Hi, good to be with you.
Good to be with you. Now, I'll get right to it. How entrenched are these entrenched bureaucrats? And in the words of Seinfeld, who are these people?
Well, this is a little different book than my earlier books, which kind of focused on threats from abroad, China, Iran, North Korea. This is really about the problem of what I describe as a highly politicized, out-of-control government bureaucracy. That is, they've kind of usurped the political authority. We elect a president, and then he's supposed to appoint 3,000 to 4,000 political appointees. But in the last two administrations, that power has been taken over by the bureaucrats, and it has given us policies that are really undermining our security.
So these are just staffers. These are everyday bureaucrats who come into work, who've been there for 5, 10, 20 years, who are basically setting the course of this nation.
Well, basically, I say that when I talk about highly politicized, I'm talking about it politicized to the left. I didn't do any polling data, but from my unofficial surveys, something like 95% of all bureaucrats are to the left liberal political perspective.
Oh, no.
And that's really a problem. We've got to get a handle on it. The next president is going to have to deal with this problem before they can deal with Russia or China or Iran or North Korea.
Well, you're saying that they're left to the political spectrum. Alan just got excited over here, so I
thought that was good.
Not in my world, it's good, and clearly not for the American people, and certainly in dealing with some of the critical issues that we've got to face in this country. There is not this balance that should come to the public policy of the nation, is what you're saying.
Right, and we pointed out in the lead-in piece about the Iran NIE, we're seeing the same thing happen now. There's a new national intelligence estimate on Afghanistan, and oh, surprise, surprise, this manages to leak out weeks before the presidential election with, again, bad news.
Hey, Bill, it's Alan. Welcome back to our show. What I find very amusing about the book was that you refer, all the bad guys are liberals, and you refer to, for example, liberals in the White House, liberals at state. Condi Rice is a rhino, Republican in name only. Andy Card, liberal Republican. Stephen Hadley conducted liberal policies at state. Dan Bartlett, communication director for Bush, had a liberal political outlook. Karen Hughes, Bush advisor, a liberal Republican. These aren't just entrenched bureaucrats. These are people Bush chose to be around. I never know Karen Hughes was a liberal, or Dan Bartlett was a liberal, or Condi was a Republican in name only, as you say in the book.
I think very important to point out that beyond just being liberal, they're anti-conservatives. That is, they regard conservatives as worse than liberals, and that puts them, to me, in the liberal camp.
Condi does? Dan Bartlett? Andy Card, the people who ran the Bush White House?
Yeah, they facilitated this liberal bureaucracy, which is now out of control.
So you're saying that Bush is not in control of his own White House?
Well, he cast himself as a compassionate conservative, and I argue that he's neither, that his administration is neither. He's done tremendous damage to the conservative movement.
Is Bush a liberal?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say, but he violated the fundamental principle of policy in Washington. If you pick the wrong people, you get the wrong policy.
How could you say that Karen Hughes was a liberal, or Andy Card, or the people who Bush chose to be around him, who worked in Republican administrations time and time again? At least Andy Card did. I mean, it's like everything's left, right, and the liberals are bad, and all the people around Bush who Bush apparently couldn't control or had all these liberal policies in the Bush White House.
Well, I would tell you, read the book, because that's the case I make, and I think that's accurate.
So you also go after Bush for Saudi Arabia and his relationship with the Saudis. What's that all about?
Well, the problem with Saudi Arabia comes down to one word: oil. And the problem is that they have done some things domestically to try to rein in terrorism. But from the interviews I did, Saudi money to the tune of tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars is being funneled around the world to groups that are sympathetic to terrorists.
By the way, let's say John McCain's liberal positions on terrorist detainees raise questions about him. Is he a liberal, John McCain?
No, I didn't say he was liberal, but I said that he's going to be eaten alive by the liberal bureaucracy.
He said he has liberal positions on terrorist detainees. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us, Bill. Coming up, we will tell you what Sean